You begin with a sentence that feels too small to matter. Something like, "I'm bad at explaining things." It looks harmless on the page, like a shrug made of ink, but it has consequences. That sentence doesn't stay put. It spreads into emails that confuse people, into meetings where you say less than you mean, into conversations where your thoughts arrive late, wearing the wrong coat. Now here's the strange part. Writing can fix this. Not in a mystical, unlock your inner genius way. More like training a stubborn dog that lives inside your head and keeps stealing your words. When you write, you are forced to choose, not between good and bad ideas, but between exact and almost exact. You think you know what you mean until you try to put it down and discover you are operating on fog. Writing pushes the fog back a few feet. Take this common moment. You think, that meeting went poorly. Writing asks, how poorly? Did people talk over each other? Did you leave confused? Did someone say circle back in a tone that meant never again? The sentence gets heavier, more specific, more honest. And once your thinking becomes specific on the page, it starts leaking into speech. You notice it first in small ways. You stop saying, "It was fine," when it wasn't fine. You start pausing before you speak, not out of hesitation, but because your brain is quietly drafting. You begin to hear the difference between sounding right and being right. There's a moment many people hit where writing feels slow and slightly humiliating. The words arrive like toddlers dragging furniture. You try to make them behave, they refuse, you delete, you rewrite. You wonder if this is what intelligence is supposed to feel like. Clumsy, noisy, slow. It is. And that slowness is where communication upgrades itself. Because spoken communication is pressure. It wants speed, confidence, closure. Writing interrupts that pressure and demands structure. It says, prove it, line it up, make it hold its shape without your voice propping it up. Over time, something shifts. You start to carry written sentences inside your speech, not memorized lines, but sharpened thinking. Instead of, "I think this project is not working," you say, "I think this project is missing a clear goal, and we're compensating with activity instead of direction." Same thought, different nervous system. People hear you differently, not because you became louder or more confident, but because your ideas stopped arriving in a pile and started arriving in order. And there's a side effect nobody warns you about. You begin to notice other people's language more sharply. Vague phrases feel like static. You hear where meaning is missing, not to criticize, but to understand faster. Communication becomes less like guessing and more like reading a map with clearer ink. Writing does not turn you into a perfect communicator. It turns you into someone who notices when communication is failing and knows how to repair it before it collapses entirely. All of this from sitting down, staring at a blinking cursor, and refusing to let your thoughts stay half-formed, which is the quiet joke at the center of it all. Writing looks like speaking to no one, but it teaches you how to speak to everyone. Thanks for listening. Catch The Quiet Quotient on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. To help us grow and keep supporting creators, please like, follow, and subscribe. Want to get in touch? Connect with me directly at jimhansonmedia.com.